Hey there, everyone. This is Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach for a small biz society of DIYers, entrepreneurs who do it themselves so that they can learn, lead, and grow their new biz. I am your host and facilitator and coach for tonight. So we're going to get right at it, my DIYers. Hope you all are having a good and productive day today. And if not, there's always tomorrow. You get to do a reset and get it all back into gear. So let us know how things are working out for you today. Today is going to be Motivation Monday for you guys. I want to keep you all motivated in getting your email marketing and your content marketing at a better level. So let's get started today. So last week, we really spent some time looking at our email profiles and how we're going to get in the systems and getting those all up and running for the email marketing. This week, we're focusing on email and automation and all the things that are going to be necessary so that you can start rolling with a better use of your time. So what I thought I'd do for you guys today is, because I've got client work and I want to be able to get back to my business, but I wanted to give you guys a good bit of knowledge nuggets today. So today, what I thought I'd do is we're going to get right into what are 5 types of automations to email your customers. These are going to be your fundamental systems that you want to get into place. Now, let's just start by saying this. When we talk about email automation, what we're really saying is kind of like set it and forget it. These are going to be automated tools or systems or processes that you're going to put into place. I mean, you're going to invest in on the front side with the setting it up and planning and all of that, which is what we're going to do tomorrow and the plan part of it. But I want you to be aware of what are the 5 different types of email automations that you eventually will have all built out. So you're going to put a little bit of elbow grease in on the front end, but once you get it all set up and done, it'll just be working in automatic pilot moving forward. Now, of course, you'll need to go in and tweak and modify or add depending on the types, which we'll talk about in a minute. But just know that when we think about email automation, it's just that there are things that it could do automatically without you having to do manual sets up and sends. So there's a difference between what we would call broadcast emails, which means that it's just a one email going out to whatever your intended audience is, and there's nothing going to happen afterwards. They're simply getting that one correspondence from you. Now, there's a little bit of an automation option that I'll talk about momentarily, but for the most part, a broadcast email is simply that, a one-off. Automated emails means that there are a sequence of emails that are going to be sent out based on a set of behaviors or purpose. So that's what we're going to think out today is what are the 5 intended purposes or types of email automation systems that you're going to want to put in place for your business if you have not already done so. No guilt will be shamed on you if you don't already have these in place. This is an opportunity for you to learn and grow and get them where you need them to go. All different types that I'm going to share with you tonight are also agnostic, meaning they can apply no matter what platform you choose to use. So we all may have adopted some already. If you have, great. I like to share with the ones that I typically like to use. And I do get a little bit of compensation, just so we're clear. So, but for today, they are 2 potential platforms that you can choose from that I like to use. You can even have more than one platform. I don't necessarily recommend it, but if you need to, there's always an opportunity for you to. I have 2 businesses, so I purposely set up 2 different platforms. That way they're not mishy altogether. So the first one is mailerlite.com. So a lot of times you'll hear me use this tool and I'll demonstrate from this platform because I use it the most. So that's my game. But a lot of the features, functions, and the content ideas behind any email automation can be applied to no matter what platform that they're just good practice. Okay, so just know that. You don't have to play in my sandbox to play. And then, so MailerLite.Yam, this website right here will get you a free version, and then you can get the pro version, which is still only like $10 a month. Really nothing, people. And there are others that are out there that charge by maybe the number of people that you're able to grow your group. And those will be things that you may want to consider. Another one is convertkit.com, which again, you can go to bit.ly.convert, and you can try out convertkit.com. So we'll check out those on another date, but just resources that you can choose from. Okay. Now, as I said, there are going to be five. I want to walk through with you 5 email automations that you want to have within your email automation platform for you to incorporate into the things that you do each and every day. Okay. So with that said, let's get right into it. I'm going to pull up my notes. And we are going to, okay. So like I said, when we think about automation, what we're talking about is that you're really looking for a way to kind of hand off tasks and focus on things that you need to give more time to that are more important. So when we think about automation is I could save time by handing it off, or at least in this case, we're putting it into automatic status. So there are certain things that you don't have to tend to all the time. That's why automated email systems make a lot of sense, that you don't have to do it. Like I said, like the rotisserie, set it and forget it. So the thing too is that you're able to pre-schedule and do all those other nice things that you would normally have to wait to, oh, I have this 2:00, let me send out an email. You don't have to do any of those things. But that's one of the reasons why automation is a really nice functionality to utilize. And all the platforms offer this. So you have your broadcasting email ability, and then you have an automation ability. But just about, I'd say, most people aren't even using the marketing automation email. In fact, it's a large number of people. They're using it, but maybe they're not using all of the features and the functions. That's a large percentage of the people out there versus there may be, let's say, an intermediate level. So there's varying levels of use when it comes to people when they purchase or when they're using email systems like ConvertKit or MailerLite or Lead Pages. They all have those different offers. It's just, but the level of use kind of varies because of either not knowing how to take advantage of them, or and also just from a matter of time. So they kind of range anywhere from super users to your, I don't know, I even have an email automation. What's email automation? So you kind of have a whole mirage of levels. Now, what email automations do allow you to do is that you can personalize the emails, and you're able to also, what we say, like set triggers based on a user's actions. So when we go through the workflows, as we like to call them, those are going to be all the little steps that are going to be a part of that automation that you get to decide how and when emails will go out to certain people. So that's the other great things. You're able to do kind of really targeted campaigns so that you can get a higher level of results. So you do have that. So with automated emails, you can automate the content of the copy. There's the offer, and then you can also kind of deliver all of that combined into one and send it off to a specific subscriber on a specific day. So there's different ways in which you're going to have an opportunity to look at email automations. But for the most part, this what I would consider to be your 5 basic ones that you should have in your business. The first one is a welcome email, right? Because welcome emails are an opportunity when someone has opted in to either a newsletter or maybe even a lead magnet of sort. So it's opportunity just for them to get to know you more, and that you're acknowledging them because they have trusted you enough to give them their email. If you haven't already done so, I've given you a free welcome email template inside of the Small Biz Society web community. So please join us so you can download and get your freebie. It's inside there as well. Let me make sure I populate that. Yeah, you can get your freebie, your welcome campaign email for free. This is a template of 5 that you can get in the website for free. So go to smallbizsociety.info, join us, and you can get your freebie inside waiting for you. Okay? Now, when we think about automation, it's also an opportunity where you're going to send a series of emails. So it's not just one and done. It's a conversation is what we're really talking about. And it's based, your welcome email is probably the simplest one you're going to put out there because it's all about you. It's all about you sharing your information and getting to know them better, them getting to know you better at the same time. So the template that you have available allows you to build that relationship in that way. And the 5 emails is also it's a good even number of sending campaigns. And they all will vary in length and the number of emails that you'll want to use as well. So that's something else to consider. There's no rule on how many. Sometimes it can go on forever if you want, but it's certainly an opportunity that you're going to be able to offer insights on who you are and what you're doing. So, because the bottom line is you want people to open up and read them, right? So here's the other thing, particularly for those of you who are new to all of this. Welcome emails get the highest open rate out of any other email that there is. So the whole point is just like any other good relationship, first impressions mean a lot. So they're wanting because they just got information from you by way of a lead campaign, elite magnet, or some type of a product for that matter. You already got their attention, so why not capitalize on it? So that's what a welcome email campaign will do. So you want to be able to nurture that relationship and giving them that series. So a welcome email campaign is something also you can, again, set it and forget it. And you usually want to do it over a series of days. It's usually what happens when we think of email campaigns. So that's the thing, is that how do you want to break up this conversation? You don't want them to forget about you. You just met. You want to just kind of give them a little bit of information, not too much. And also, super duper important, this is not salesy. You already sold them by way of whatever interest that they had, that they gave you the email to begin with. So remember the rule: give, sell. So you want to be able to do that with a welcome campaign. Is just get to know them and have them get to know you better, and you'll be in good shape. You have plenty of time to sell them. Okay. And then, of course, don't wait. Make sure you send out your email campaigns promptly when for you get the optimal experience. Now, so that's welcome email campaigns. The next email campaign in the 5 types that you have is going to be follow-up email campaigns. Now, this one is a little different. In a follow-up can take on a couple different connotations. And the reason why I included the words open and click is because it's all based on behavior. So let me check my notes and I'll give you a kind of a share of what does that really mean when we think about follow-up emails that are going to be based on your opens and your clicks. So when you think about automation campaigns, they are based on your list, the subscriber, when they open and how they're going to engage with your email. So let's say, for example, that you sent out those 100 emails, but not everybody opened it. And with the automation in place, you can be prepared ahead of time for if they do or if they don't. That's the nice thing that you have the benefit of. And so when you're doing a follow-up, you already can say, well, if they open, then you're going to send them this email. If they don't open, then you may want to send them a different type of an email. So it's all kind of like, if you go back to, some of you may be familiar with what we call a decision tree, and that's essentially what a workflow looks like. A workflow is just that. If then, what happens? Do they say yes or do they say no? Do they click yes, open, or do they not open? So what happens? So it's all based on the behaviors or the interactions of your subscriber. So So the nice thing about with a follow-up email automation is that it could be the same message no matter what, and it can go to different types of audiences at the same time. It could be a different subject line. So you may have a different follow up email for each one of your products or services that you want to speak specifically to. And it's also an opportunity that you can promote other information inside. So that's the other part with a follow up is that yes, I might have made a purchase with a sale, and but then what? And if they didn't open it up, same thing with I'm trying to think. Yeah, anything that's a purchase for the most part, you're going to do a follow up of some sort. You can even include things like an offer, a promotion, a coupon, a freebie again, but it's all about making sure that over the course of time, how do you want things to be handled? And you usually can tell up front when you're sending this out is how do you want the email system to respond when your subscriber opens an email? What do you want the system to do next? If they click on a link inside the email, what do you want them to do next? That's what the follow-up email automations will allow you to do. So you are kind of programming, in a sense, how you want the system to do certain things, and you've already did all the pre-thinking ahead of time, and you know exactly. Say, well, if they do this, send them this. If they don't do this, send them this. So that's what it's all set up for. That's what automations are all about. So that is for your follow-up emails, just based on openings and clicks. Another email campaign out of the 5 of the terminations are going to be onboarding products and services email sequencing. So in this automation, very similar to almost the follow-up, but again, it has to do with the product or the service. So in this particular case, check my notes here, make sure I say this. So when someone buys your product or your service, it's that opportunity again to get to know them better. And it's also an opportunity for you to maybe train them on the product and the features and functions of what they just bought. Or if it's a service-based business that they just subscribed or purchased, then you want to set the expectations. Like, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what you ought to be doing before we get started. So for instance, when I have coaching clients, then I have an onboarding email campaign that gets them kind of familiarized. But here's how the coaching session is going to be. Here are your tools. Here's things to do for our first session. Maybe complete a survey. So there's those types of opportunities. So onboarding emails is your other automation system that you'll want to have in place that's going to be connected, again, product or your service. And you can also share with your customers maybe support resources, and then maybe even I'm trying to think what else I got here. Additional training, and of course, an opportunity to upsell at some point in time. But the onboarding is really to educate, again, not to sell all the time. And again, it's a series. So again, it could be anywhere from 3 to 5, depending on how much you want to write and how much information is enough information where you're not saying too much in one email. You want to kind of be real purposeful and intentional about that so that you're not losing the readership. It's an art and it takes time. So you're not going to get it right off the bat all the time. Okay. All right. So the next one that we have in our 5 types of email automations that you may want to consider is cart abandonment. Now, this is a little bit more sophisticated. So this also requires you to have your email system connected to your website where the purchasing is really taking place. But there is a interfacing that occurs between your website and your email automation system that can allow for the two systems to talk to one another so that if a person visits the site and there's enough information that they at least that by their email that they've been there before as a customer because they logged in, then you're able to see that, hey, they started to make a purchase, but they didn't do anything. They left something in the cart. If you've experienced this in other online shoppings, then the same thing can hold true for you and your site. So it is a little bit more sophisticated, but there's value in it. So it's always good to know exactly what it is that you have an option to do when it comes to abandoned emails messages. But here's the basic point on this one. And I'm really working on mine actually. This is where you're able to, by having a abandoned cart email automation in place, is that you're able to retain purchases. And when you do that, you can optimize and get almost 70%. I think I have it at 70%. 70%. Here's a staggering number. 70% of potential online purchases are not completed. 70%. So for every 10 people who come to your website, 7 of them and make a purchase, 7 of them are going to be like, nah, that's okay. That's only leaving you how many? 3. So your stuff better be pretty damn good that it will be enticing enough for them to want to stick around enough to go through the whole purchase because they was like, damn, that's some good stuff. I really want some. So 70% of the people are leaving stuff in the cart for a variety of reasons. The abandoned cart email sequencing is designed so that you can kind of really capitalize on that huge potential revenue loss that you already are at the I hate to say, but you're basically at the mercy of the purchaser, right? So you want to have this as that kind of safety net that you can really put into place. And this does require, again, effort is what takes the time. But once you have it set up, it can, again, be an automation because these can be pretty generic. You can even do it where, depending on the systems, they have it such that they'll fill in the blank with what they know you left in the cart and they'll fill it in the email and send it to the person. Because typically when email automation systems like this are working with your cart is that they've had to have had an account with you so they logged on. So the system already knows this person logged on. They click add to cart for something and they didn't take it all the way through the purchasing for the point of sales. So the system will trigger it and then inform the email system of such. And it will tell them in that transaction of what was in the cart and fill in the blanks. So you'll fill out basically your email, it will be somewhat templated and you'll have these spaces where it'll say, hey, Bob, notice you were at the site. Hey, you left something in a cart. You left your, 2 records, whatever, in the cart. Want to finish up that order now? Click here. And it'll cycle back to the website. So even if you're offering discounts and coupons or even if it's just a quick reminder, there's different reasons or ways in which you can entice the abandoned cart person to make that purchase complete. So it's just another strategy. It does require, like I said, those additional tools or integrations between systems. But most of them I've noticed over time, a lot of the different email systems are really trying to connect with the other automated systems like WordPress or even like Wix and things like that because they understand it all works together and it benefits everybody. Whenever I can have systems work with one another, it's even better. So if I find a tool, the first thing I'm going to try to check is how many systems will work with my email system? Kind of like cousins. That's how I look at it. So how many cousins can I find? It's going to make my life easier. And if it works, then it's like, ooh, you work with MailerLite. Ooh, you work with ConvertKit. Ooh, you work with lead pages. Great. I'm more prone to want to use that product than the one that doesn't. So these are just some of the things that kind of come over time. Now, there are tools that will help to work and talk to one system to another. If they are not already first cousins, then you can get a third cousin that will help make all the conversations talk to one another between systems. Totally different conversation for another day. All righty. Now, last of the 5 is special events. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, what could a special event really mean when we talk about email automations? But the thing that I like about this is over time, when you really get to build your profiles with your customers, some of the things that you can really take advantage of for special occasions are things like their birthday or an anniversary, and not just their like wedding anniversary, but it could be like customer anniversary or even your anniversary. And these are ways in which you can really personalize the messages, and that's also going to get a really cool open rate as well. So you have that. So think about how you're going to be able to personalize these different types of events and have them triggered. It may also be by interest. So for instance, this is something that's really cool. If you are or if they celebrate 7 types of holidays that they celebrate and you're collecting that in a simple survey, this is the other great thing about this. Is why doing regular emails from time to time is just your opportunity to build people's profiles. That doesn't mean that they're going to give you everything that they know about you and tell you everything about themselves on the first date. That's not going to happen. You just want their first name and an email on the first date. You notice I always go back to dating. Anyway, so you're just going to get the email and you're just going to get the name. But over time, as you're sending out your welcome email, you may say, hey, take this survey. Answer these 3 questions for me. That information is going to get tied to their profile. And this information that you can use for these special email events that you're going to be able to send out. And then they're going to think, wow, these people are like really on it. They're sending these custom emails that they know all about my interests and they make me feel so super duper special. And so it makes sense that you are asking questions routinely in your newsletters and things like that. So think about them as you're wanting to increase the profile build out for your list. Alrighty, so those are my top 5 email automations that you want to have for your business. If you don't have them all, which ones do you have out of the 5? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you don't have them all, then let's map out a plan to get them all built out. One at a time. Don't try to do them all at once. I set you up with your first freebie for the welcome email. So certainly you want to get that in place and get that going and in place. And then think about the other 5 and then how is it that you can build those out. You may have in your email automation system, some may already give you some templates. If you would like to have some templates and you're interested in it, I have a few that I might be able to let you have at a bargain. But until then, let's just go with the basic one. So hopefully you'll find that you have a better understanding about what email automations are beneficial for you and your business, and that they don't have to be complicated. So remember, we like to keep things simple as we are DIYing our way through our business. But if you do have any questions whatsoever, please know that you can reach out to me in the Small Biz Society. Simply visit us here if you're watching us on our biz page this week as a special event, and you'll be able to get access to all the other video archives that we have. And share your questions here in the comments, as well as you can always direct message me. And until then, let's get busy. Take care. Bye-bye.